enjoying the position.
Exactly.
But he has to find ways to put Gukesh under pressure. And Gukesh with just 16 seconds, and it's ticking down to 13 seconds.
Whoa. Suddenly getting very interesting.
7 seconds. Oh dear.
And he doesn't look like, wow.
He's made that move as well with 4 seconds left on the
4
clock. And, well, Pragg not giving Gukesh any chance to pause. Queen check. King. Where will the king run to?
Well, if you go to G1, there is no Queen A8.
Well, he's moved his queen to B6. Okay, again, this is an interesting issue because Gukesh has to be very careful with the rook coming down to A2. Pinning.
I'm blundering my F7 apologies. I was thinking, you get your queen on A8.
Well, you can't wait in the wrong way because rook A2 is a threat.
Big time.
And threatening to eliminate all the heavy pieces.
So
if you step up with the king again, 18 seconds for Gukesh.
Let me tell you something. Please. So now, King F1 is the only move. If you try to do this, and he finds it.
Wow.
So
that's not intuitive.
If he would keep shuffling G1, G2, there was this staircase, B7, Queen to B7, to A7, eventually to A8, and Rook A1, as Yasser wanted to achieve. So King F1 was the only move, all the rest would lose. And he has to block with the queen in case of Queen A6 check.
Queen A6 check, Queen E2. Oh, that one is an easy one. That one I really wanted to block and put my queen on the light squares on the long diagonal so I could put my king on G2. But let me just refresh my board. How close did he get down? You were counting
4 seconds, Yasser.
4 seconds. Whoa.
Yep, it is certainly whoa. And I'll say I can see that, Wesley taking big risks as well in his game. But Gukesh very much on the back foot. Pragg, he has to just find some moves just to keep the pressure on the board. Maybe Queen B7. Defend the F7 pawn.
Looks like a darn good.
The only issue is that Gukesh has some very easy moves if you go Queen B7. He's just going to go King to G1, and the shuffling begins.
Again. Sadly, a move like Rook F5, trading rooks at first blush, you might thinking, I'm getting closer to my king upon endgame. You're actually just ruining your pawn structure. You're not making the win anything closer. You pushed it away, in fact.
Maybe it's time to go king to G8, G7 or something.
King G7, I'm probably jumping with check and here. I liked what you were saying. Queen here.
So there's a little problem that the rook is hanging on A5.
Good morning.
In fact, actually, that's a serious issue. You can't defend.
That is it.
The pawn with the queen, because rook takes F7. It will be checked.
Yeah, maybe it's time I have to.
I think you have to, in order to kind of keep the position as is, you'll have to drop the rook back to A7.
Yes.
Because King G7, for instance, as far as I can see, allows an immediate perpetual. Queen C3, and C8, and C3, and C8.
Queen A6 check.
Queen A6 check. Now Queen E2 is needed.
And that one is easy.
That one is very easy, because otherwise rook to A1 is going to be devastating.
And you precisely so. You're getting out of this threat of rook A1, but even better still, you want to put your queen on F3 so your king will find glorious shelter on G2. And Pragg forcing Gukesh to find this Queen B7, and I'm thinking this is an automatic, right? Queen F3.
And then he trades, goes Rook F5, and wins.
No.
So the only move to keep the position alive after queen b7 is king g1.
Queen f3. I'm in a losing rook and pawn.
Well, I don't know. According
King
to
and pawn
the
and-
claim of our engine,
I'm
rook
shocked.
f5 takes.
I'm shocked to imagine. He's playing
Well-
queen f3.
Well,
Oh.
we are about to find out.
We're about to find out because I'm just very.
I don't know
Stunned.
if I shouldn't trust the machine, because machine says it's like completely winning.
Completely winning. Oh my goodness. Time trouble impacting the outcome of this game. King g1, you were saying, should have been played. What were you saying after queen e2, queen b7? What did you need to play?
King g1.
King
Yeah.
g1.
King g1 to be able to block with the
With the
rook on
rook.
the first rank.
Covering, protecting h1 square,
Yeah.
getting ready to play rook
I
f.
just checked it with the table basis, this king and pawn ending. It is winning for black.
Wow.
But you have to understand that. That's
Wow.
also a big issue and not easy to do when you just have 45 seconds left on the clock.
You know,
Wait a
seriously.
second. Realistically, what's your better chance? Because f7 is hanging. If you avoid the queen straight, that means you're dropping the f7 pawn, right?
No, you have to go for this rook f5. Even if you don't believe it's winning, you have to understand that 3 versus 2 is an easy draw. So, but rook f5, and by the way, there
15
goes
seconds.
all of Prague's time. I thought he was
Exactly, 12
up 5
seconds.
minutes on the clock for a moment
He
there.
was, but he thought it away. 7 seconds, 5 seconds, 4. Okay, so he goes for the trade, and yep, it is the king and pawn endgame.
Wow, rook takes f5, all fours. And again, I'm really stunned that this is a losing ending. I guess I'm getting zugzwanged.
Yeah.
You're gonna put your king towards e5.
I guess. So with this kind of setup, you can kind of eternally wait on f6 and e6 with the king for white king to go back, right?
To e3. So, okay, let's just put some moves on the board. I'm going to go
Oh,
king.
they will do it for us. Okay,
Very
we can
quickly.
follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can follow the game.
They will do it very quickly for us. King f2, king g6. We're anticipating that black will want to play king to f6 to e5 in order to play f4, and we're going to be having
Let
our
me tell
king
you
waiting.
something.
Yes.
Now, after king f3 for white, one of the winning moves is king back to h7, which kind
Wow.
of suggests how winning the position is. Okay, I
Right.
trust my engine here, so
Right.
I put the king f3 on the board, and then one of the winning moves is go back to h7.
Yeah, but I think
It's
that's
incredible.
because the winning technique is just to come in with your king.
To e5,
To
and
e5.
play f4,
Yep.
right? So I'm going to try to block you, and then you're going to play f4 anyway, and then you're going to zugzwang me. You're going to have more tempos with your pawn than I will. More tempi. Wow. Yeah. I can see, Jovi, you've got the technique down
Well, I'm
on
trying.
your board. Yeah.
Whilst you guys are talking, I'm trying to see what the winning technique is.
Exactly. I think you're finding it very nicely. I think it's f4, isn't it?
No, it's not f4.
Not f4.
No.
h5 first, then. He's first played king to g5, by the way. So that's important. King to g5. So you forced me to take away a tempo move. If I move my king, then I'm afraid of king g4. So I have to play h3. Yeah, I like king g5. That's important to get white to play h3.
And if king doesn't go there, you just take a step back, then yeah, you just gets king g4.
Precisely.
Okay, so h3.
Okay, then we do have h3 on the board. Then go back to the e5 square.
It's it's interesting because I'm looking at this position and my table base is telling me that there are only two moves to win. King g6 and h5. King f6 is going to be a draw.
Wow.
Because white gets the opposition with king f4.
Okay.
But if you go king to g6,
king f4,
king
f6,
king f4, yeah, it's very important to maintain the opposition. You go king f6, and then if white waits again, king f3, you go king e5. Yeah.
And then white waits again with king e3.
Yeah.
And now do you go f4?
And now you go f4.
Wow. This is
deep.
Deep stuff.
But it's a relatively straight path, yeah.
Yeah, for these two grandmasters. Yeah. I'm just going to refresh my board, everyone. But so far, so good. Good technique. We understand h5 and king g6 are both winning moves. He's reaching for the h-pawn, I believe. King f6.
No, this is no. He's not
No.
following the rules. You need to definitely maintain the opposition. And now king f4.
Okay.
This is it.
King f4, king e6.
Wait a second, but how this is it? This is like super tricky.
So if you
Because
go king e6, yeah, go on.
the draw is, you go king f4, king g6. The only way for white to make a draw is g4. Let's say take with the pawn, king f6, and then it'd be this corresponding square, so like you have to go to f3. It's very hard to realize it's a draw.
Right. So, hold on. King f4 is on the board. So here's the moment of truth. King g6, g4 is a draw. King e6, also g4 must be only move. Also a draw. Whoa. Opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's a word that you can't use on Norwegian TV. That's too sophisticated, right?
No, you can use opposition.
Opposition?
Opposite. The kings are opposite each other.
Okay.
And you talk about the critical squares being e5, f5, and g5.
Corresponding squares, that would be too much. Then your producers
say-
will fire you.
Well, no, you can always kind of explain yourself away. And Praggnanandhaa, 7 seconds left on the clock, and he moves his king to e6, and
By
this
the
is
way,
it.
for Gukesh, this one's actually an easy decision. For Gukesh, he can recognize that king f3 loses. Easily. King f3, king e5 loses. So g4 is forced.
G4 is forced. It's the
Only
only way
move.
to draw.
Right. Any retreats?
Well, this
Done.
is the moment to change the nature of the position.
15
Initiate
seconds.
the trade.
I see the
13
clock.
seconds.
I see.
10 seconds.
And Pragg doesn't want to look at the clock.
Look at the clock. And yeah, he goes G4, and that is the way to draw.
Your heart sinks when your opponent plays the only move to draw.
Right.
Oof. And he did it with 4 seconds on his clock.
Yeah, he did. And now it's Praggnanandhaa's turn to think. Just 14 seconds.
See, at this point, Pragg is still thinking, I may be winning this. Wait a minute. I'm going to play king f6. My opponent has to go back. Can I wrong foot my...
Yeah, the way he played king f6, I'm sure he thinks he's winning.
Exactly. I mean,
Well,
please.
Gukesh is not out of danger just yet, because the only way
Absolutely.
that he can draw is by stepping that king back to f3, because this is the theory of corresponding squares, and of course it is there in practice. As soon as the king moves to e5, the king will follow suit, and after king to g5, the king also moves in that direction as well.
Distant opposition. If we play king to e3, then king to e5, Black's king has the opposition. So king to f3, keeping the distant opposition.
Yeah, it's so important to kind of control
Again.
the h4 square as well.
Yeah.
h4 and f4 squares are the important ones not to let go of.
King f3, only move. In Okay, so king g5, king
King
g3.
g3.
Only
Yeah.
move.
No access to.
And again, clock ticking
Well,
down.
Pragg.
King e5.
King e3.
Yeah. Now, after f7, f6, I can play the king back to f3, and you haven't won the opposition. So I'm playing king f4, king to d5. Okay.
Okay, you have
This
to
looks
copy.
like
Or
no
you
king
can go.
f4. Is king f4 a loser?
King f4 is fine. King d3, king f3, king f4. You're good.
King d3, king f4. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. Good. I was like, okay, he's played king to d3. Because at first blush, I wanted to play king f4 in order to play king to f5, and I thought I was drawing. And if I was losing, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna lose my grandmaster title. They'll take it away from me.
And we also have a result between Wesley So and Praggnanandhaa. It did finish in a draw.
But not without some serious testing by Wesley. Wesley was a reluctant drawing player. King to d6. Excuse me, king to d3, king to d6. Isn't king to d4 an automatic here?
Yep,
As we
it
just try
is.
to keep. Now we shadow the black king, king to e6, king to e4, king to f6. King to f4 is fine, but also king to f3 is a kind of a repetition, right? We just came from king f6, king f3. Actually, the only losing move would be king e3. King f4, king f3, both draw. And king d3 loses, of course, king g4.
Yeah. And this is definitely in Gukesh's,
Wheelhouse.
textbook, right?
Right.
You can see that he's put in the work in knowing his basic endings. And G4, knowing that, just helped him save this game.
Just saw Prague look away there for a moment, and maybe the realization suddenly just sunk in.
There's still a trick.
There's still a trick.
There's still a trick. Yeah.
And the trick could be
So if you get, say, king g5, king g3, f6,
king g5, king g3,
f6, and you have two possible moves. One of them makes a draw and the other one doesn't.
Let's see. King h3, h5 may break. I would play king f3.
And you'd be absolutely right.
But trying to.
So king h3, king f4, king h4, king e4, and black wins the opposition.
That is beautiful.
And the other side is a draw because there is no I4 square or something. You can
Right,
show
you
the
can't go
other
to-
line, and it's simply
Yeah.
the edge of the board doesn't let you win.
Gotcha. Oh, king f3.
Well,
King
the players might find themselves in that situation as they repeat the position.
In this position, there's no king to the edge of the board. You can't go off the board and get an opposition that way. And now a repetition.
Once again,
So again, has to go king f3.
king f3, only move.
King f3. Been here before. So king f3, king to g5, king to g3, f6, the final test. King f3, only move to make the draw. King g5, king
Okay.
g3,
King g3.
f6. This is it, the final test. Prague looks like he's suffering. Like
because he knows it was winning.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to let go of the past.
Right.
Especially in this kind of situation. He was on the verge of getting his first win. He would have shared the lead. And instead, well, here it is, guys. This is the moment of truth, and King F3.
Never a doubt, right? I am not going that way. And, actually, King H3, King F3 still required. King F5 would have been a decisive error. King H2.
King H2, King F2. The white king is just simply shattering its counterpart.
Right.
And the players are going to be repeating. But there's no way for anywhere the king to go, and here it is. Pawn takes pawn. King
Did we
F5.
say the players are playing hard? Well, they're playing to naked kings. King takes F6. What a duel! And you can tell this is going to be the rivalry of the future. These two players really got the full measure of one another, I was going to say, for this one.
And here you see the players sharing their thoughts, analysing the game afterwards. I mean, this game was so fiercely contested.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That is very nice that they just put that aside and now just simply analysing the moves together. Oh, but it feels like it was